Well, thank you so much for allowing me to come here. Like I said, my name is Connor Kern. I'm one of the co-owners of Local Laundry, and we also have a couple of other clothing companies called CDN and West. Show of hands, anyone ever heard of Local Laundry? No, we got a couple. We got a handful, 3, 4, 5. Wow. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly kind of go through a little bit about my journey, my entrepreneurial journey, and talk a little bit about leadership. And at the end, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear some questions from you. So I believe we have till what, 11:30? Is that right? Yeah. Perfect. So if you have any questions, feel free to keep them, write them down, and then we'll get to them. We'll get them at the end. If it's really burning and you just can't hold yourself and you just gotta ask a question, feel free to put up your hand. We can always have a chat. So only about 3 or 4 of you ever heard of Local Laundry. That's cool. That's okay. No worries. Anyone ever seen this design? A couple more hands, maybe. Okay. This was the design that kind of took us off the ground. So what Local Laundry is all about is we are clothing that builds community. We really want to create high quality clothing that brings people together and strengthens our communities. And I know you're probably thinking, well, how can clothing do that, right? How can clothing bring community? Well, think about this morning when you woke up and you got yourself ready to come to school today, right? Good for you guys, right? I'm assuming you dressed yourselves, right? But you made a conscious decision. You said, you know what? I'm going to pick this shirt. I'm going to wear these pants, these socks. I'm going to wear this hat, this sweater, whatever. You made a conscious decision. And you made a decision based on how you want to be perceived, right? How we dress ourselves, the clothing that we wear, the clothing that we choose to wear is a conscious or subconscious way it's a decision that we decide on how we want to be perceived, right? What our values are, how we showcase who we are, express ourselves, right? And I really thought there was something there that we could use clothing to not only express and share those values, but to connect us with other people who had those similar values, right? Let's say, for example, someone's rocking you got an LA Dodgers, is that an LA Dodgers hat, right? You wear that. Maybe you bump into another guy with an LA Dodgers hat and you're like, hey, you a baseball fan? I am. Are you a Dodgers fan? Wow, I am. And now you have this connected thing. There's a guy here with a Jays hat. You guys could probably talk baseball and you're like, hey, we like the same stuff. Cool. That's bringing you together. That's building community through clothing. And I just thought, how crazy is that? Now, I had this idea, and do I know anything about clothing? Nope. Right? I was in a very similar situation to you guys, right? I was sitting about your age in grade 10, 11, 12, not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. And every Thanksgiving, Christmas, the aunts and uncles were always like, oh, what are you going to do after you graduate high school? What are you going to do? What university are you going to go to? And I'm like, I don't know. Stop asking me all these questions. Leave me alone. I can barely figure out what I want to wear in the morning. And so what I wanted to do was like, I got to do something. I was like, well, I want to make money. Like everyone, why not just go make a bunch of money? It seems kind of cool. We'll make lots of money, drive fancy cars, wear fancy suits. I'll just go wherever I can make the most money. And when I was your age in high school, and you're from Calgary or Alberta, what's the first thing that kind of comes to mind when you want to make lots of money? Anyone know? Oil and gas. So I was like, I'm going to go work in oil and gas. I'm going to make loads of money, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And then everyone's like, oh, great. Well, what are you going to do in oil and gas? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, well, are you interested in the engineering or the geology or and I'm like, whatever makes the most money, that's what I'm going to do. And so I followed that path, and it led me. You guys want to know what I did first out of university? It was so cool. It was so much fun. I was a subcontract specialist. You guys are so jealous right now because it was like the coolest job ever. You know what a subcontract